Hey everyone, it is Shannon, and I'm here today to talk about a film for 31 Days of Horror, and today we will be talking about Creep 2. Creep 2. We got a sequel here, folks. A sequel. So this was directed by Patrick Brice. Oh, dang it. I forgot to put other works that he has directed. I will leave the link to IMDb for this film down below so you can check that out. It was co-written by Mark Duplass and Patrick Brice. It stars Mark Duplass and Desiree Akravan. It came out in 2017, and I would say the genre is definitely horror, thriller, and this is a verite or found footage style film, and also a bit of a social experiment. Social experiment, if that's a subgenre. Is that always a horror subgenre, or maybe it's general subgenre? I guess a drama could be, but most of the ones I've seen that are social experiments end up being horror. I give this a rating of 8 out of 10 or 4 out of 5, and I did give it a heart. And I did talk about Creep in a previous video, but years ago. I will leave a link to it up above, and I will leave the timestamped link to it down below. I don't know if in the cards links if you can do a timestamp, but if you can, I will try, because I talked about a bunch of different films in the same video at some point when I was doing videos about film that way. So, but Creep 2, Creep 2. I don't think you actually have to see Creep 1 to see this. There's no reason not to watch Creep 1 first. I enjoyed Creep 1 and I enjoyed Creep 2. This was actually a really interesting film. Mark Duplass is such a really great character and he's so perfect for this role. So the basic idea of this one, and a similar idea for the first film, is that someone responds to a video ad for not a video ad. Someone responds to an ad for someone looking for a videographer, and they go and meet Mark Duplass, his character, and he just is a bit creepy. So like then this is why I call it a bit of a social experiment, is that he continues to sort of push the boundary of social norms and see what the videographer does. And so this tends to happen like again and again and again. And I was a little surprised that I enjoyed Creep 2 as much as I did. Maybe it's because it's been a couple of years since I've seen the first Creep. I don't know if I watched them 2 days in a row or back to back if I would feel the same way, but I still feel like they're both really solid films. The writing and the acting and the pace of them is done so well that you do just feel uncomfortable. And that is something that I think is an element to horror films that is important. Like, if you don't feel uncomfortable ever, then I feel like the horror film is not doing its job. I probably will think of an example, but I do, where that it isn't the case. But generally, I think it is supposed to make you just, like, whether it's be scared or unnerved, or like in this case it's just more of like the social, not only the social element, it does have horror elements in it as well, like, without question. But yeah, like, it's just this sort of like people reacting, people being people, or are they, is that what a normal person would do? Is it not what a normal person would do? When do you say something? How long will you go along? How many times will you let someone apologize? How many times, like, when are you going to say something? Are you ever going to say something? If you do decide to say something, what do you say? Like, it has all of these questions, or like all of these situations come up again and again and again, and it's just like, whoa. So I ended up really enjoying it. I actually, this is another one where I don't have too much to say. It is a found footage style, like, but it doesn't have a lot of shaky cam, like, comparative to other found footage films, because it really is about someone who is a videographer. So they're filming the video with the intention of using that video for a project, which is a different case. Actually, no, that's usually almost the case, always, for found footage films, but for some reason with this one, they didn't push that so much as some of the other ones that I've seen recently. Like, it felt like if it was an interview, it felt like it was an interview. Like, sure, you get zooming in, zooming out, like switching focus if like something happens or whatever, but generally I felt like it was a bit more pleasant experience in terms of like focusing on it being recorded intentionally, but you still always knew that it was someone being a videographer. So first, I thought it was very successful from that front. It didn't push the boundary as much as I think some other found footage verite ones do. But this is one where it is more about drama. You know, like it is more about like it's not exploring something supernatural, which is what a lot of found footage films are. This one is more about two people talking. So maybe that lends itself to more stable video stuff. But I just thought the choices were good in terms of when it was clear that it was found footage, like when it was clear that it was, you know, the camera, like it made sense. When the camera moved, it made sense. It wasn't just done for effect. So I really appreciated that, and I thought it was really tight from that sense. So yeah, I actually do not have too much to say about this one. I don't want to say any specifics because it really is well worth a watch. These films are short. They're in the hour and 20-minute range. One is an hour and 15, one is an hour 20. I can't remember. I don't think that's something I include. But you can check out the IMDb link. And yeah, so Creep 2. Wow, it's really nice to see a sequel that does a really good job. And you know, I really enjoyed it. So there you go. Let me know. Have you seen Creep? Did you like it? Did you watch Creep 1 as well? And what do you think of these found footage style films, or these really small cast horror films? I often think that they can be very successful, but not always, of course. But in this case, I thought it was very successful. The acting was very believable for both of the actors, and I was really with it. I was really with it. So I found it unnerving, but it also like gave releases, which is nice, and just it was a really good watch. So I'm really glad that I took a chance on Creep 2. And yeah, so let me know your thoughts on the film, and I'll be back soon with another video. Thanks for watching.